They call me the beast incarnate, like nothing can touch me. The guy who broke a 21 match streak, suplex champions, like it was nothing. That's the story everybody knows, right? But here's the thing. Nobody talks about the same body they thought was unbreakable. It almost got buried by a disease I couldn't even pronounce the first time a doctor said it to me. Funny, huh? You spend your whole life building something untouchable, and it's your own insides that try to take you out first. Everybody remembers WrestleMania 19 for one thing, and it's not even the match itself, right? It's the mistake. I was supposed to do this front flip off the top rope, the shooting star press, and some guy backstage, he's whispering in my ear, "This is your WrestleMania moment, kid." And I bought into it. I shouldn't have. That was foolish on my behalf, honestly. I go up, I rotate, and I land right on my head. Just boom, concussed. I don't even remember finishing that match. People ask me what was it like winning the title that night, and I go, I don't know, man. I wasn't there. Not really. But that's not even the part that still gets me, There's this other thing, this thing that happened almost a year before that. On a plane, me and Kurt, Mr. Perfect, were messing around, just two shooters being competitive. That's all it was. And it got out of hand. He got fired for it. I didn't. And then, within a year, he was gone, passed away. And I don't talk about this much, but that one sits with me different than any bump or bruise ever did. You don't get to take that back, You don't get a rematch with something like that. And I think that's around when things started slipping for me, if I'm being honest with you, because how do you deal with something like that? How do you deal with getting hit in the head every night, losing your friend, being on the road 300 days a year? You find something, and for me, it was the bottle, and it was pills, Vicodin, vodka, whatever got me through the next flight, the next town, the next show. I'm not proud of it, but there's like 2 years of my life back then I genuinely do not remember. Gone. Just poof. And nobody knew, Because on camera, I'm the beast. I'm unbreakable. Behind the curtain, I'm a kid who's fallen apart and doesn't know how to say it out loud. That's the thing about this business. It doesn't ask if you're okay. It just tells you when you're on. And I kept showing up night after night, smiling for the cameras, hurting everywhere else. Looking back now, I see it clear as day. But back then, you don't see it. You just survive it one town at a time, and you tell yourself you're fine, because that's what you're supposed to say. So yeah, that's where it started cracking. Not in the ring, not from an opponent, from the inside, quiet, where nobody was watching. So 2004, that's the year everything it fell apart, honestly. I was on top, Biggest contract in my life, guaranteed money for 10 years, and I walked away from it, just walked. And people ask me why, and the honest answer is I was tired. Tired of the road, tired of hotel rooms, tired of being somebody else's schedule. I wanted to go find out what else was out there for me, Big move, real big move. But nobody tells you what happens after. The checks stop coming, right? But the bills don't stop, I'll tell you that much. I remember I got cut, and then the IRS is literally showing up at my door, like at my actual door. And I'm sitting there thinking, I had it all figured out, and now I've got nothing. That's a special kind of humbling, 2004 to 2006, I call those my worst years, honestly. Living hell, some days. You go from being the guy everybody wants a piece of to being a guy nobody's calling back. And right in the middle of all that, this is the part people forget. I get hit by a van on my motorcycle. Just out of nowhere, this woman pulls out in front of me, and I go down hard. Broke my jaw, broke my hand, messed up my hip pretty bad too. And this is right when I'm trying to get my body ready for a shot at the NFL, Terrible timing. Terrible, terrible timing. but I didn't stop. I couldn't. I'm laying there all stitched up, and I'm still telling myself, I'm going to make this happen. Because what else was I going to do? Go back and beg? No, not me. So I show up to camp still busted up, still healing. And I mean, I gave it everything I had. I really did. 8 weeks, grinding, proving myself to guys who'd been playing that game their whole lives while I'd been gone since high school. And for a while there, I actually thought I had a shot. I really did. Then last cut, right at the end, gone. And that one hurt different, you know, because it wasn't a botched move. It wasn't a bad night. It was just, I wasn't good enough, plain and simple. And I had to sit with that. I had a childhood dream just closed. Shut the door on it myself, walking away from wrestling, and then football closes the door right back on me. I remember standing there thinking, all right, what now? No wrestling company wanted to talk to me on my terms. No football team wanted me either. I mean, I was standing in the middle of nowhere, professionally speaking, you know, broke, hurt, and out of doors to knock on. But, and this is the thing, I didn't understand it then, I understand it now. Losing everything like that, it strips you down to just who you actually are. No contract, no name on a marquee, none of that, just me. And I had to decide right there what I was gonna do with that. So I went overseas, started over in Japan from the bottom, you know, no fanfare, nobody there waiting for me. And honestly, looking back, that free fall, that's probably the best thing that ever happened to me. Because you don't find out what you're made of when everything's going right. You find out when it's all gone. So my first real fight professionally, you know, no scripts, no finish, decided ahead of time. I go against this guy and I mean, I'm dominating early. I really am. Ground and pound, had him hurt, and then out of nowhere, he catches my leg, knee bar, and I'm tapping before I even really understand what's happening. 90 seconds, gone, just like that. And I remember thinking, I trained for that exact position 100 times, 1,000 times, and it still got me. That's humbling in a way wrestling never was, you know? Because there's no getting up from that one with your pride intact. I was mad at myself mostly. But it lit something in me too, honestly. Like, don't you ever tell me I can't do something. But that wasn't even the real fight, not even close. See, there's this thing that started creeping into my body around that same stretch, and none of us knew what it was for the longest time. I'm getting sick. I mean, really sick, doubled over, can't eat right. And doctors are telling me it's mono, it's this, it's that, and none of it's true. I'm fighting at the highest level in the world, defending a title, and inside I'm falling apart and nobody can tell me why. You go a year like that, you know, hiding it, fighting through it, smiling for the cameras because that's what champions do, right? And it just eats at you, and then it finally has a name, diverticulitis. And I honestly didn't even know how to say it the first time a doctor told me. But I knew what it meant because they're telling me I could die from this, like actually die, not lose a match, not lose a title, die. And I remember laying in that hospital bed thinking, I built this whole identity on being unbreakable, and here's my own body quietly trying to kill me from the inside. Nobody in the stands chanting my name knew that. Nobody. They end up going in and taking out a good part of my intestine, and I mean, that's not something you just bounce back from. That's not a bruise. That's not a pulled muscle. That's your body telling you you're not made of steel, kid, no matter what they call you on television. And here's the part that still bothers me, if I'm honest with you. I lost my title right in the middle of all this. Getting beat, getting hurt, and everybody's just seeing the loss. They don't see the disease sitting underneath it, quietly taking the fight out of me, fight after fight. I remember saying afterward, you know, he beat me fair and square, and that's true, but I also wasn't all the way there. Not really. I was fighting a war nobody could see. At the same time, I was fighting the one everybody was watching. And then, I mean, there's this one night I go in thinking, all right, if I win this, I get one more shot at the title, and if I lose, that's it. That's me done. And I lose. Bad one. Body just shutting down on me, standing there in that cage, and I hear myself saying out loud in front of everybody, this is the last time you'll see me in here. And I meant it. I wasn't performing. That's the real me talking, exhausted, hurting, done. You know, people love that word unbreakable. They slap it on posters, they chant it. But I'm telling you, there's nothing romantic about laying in a hospital bed wondering if the thing that's going to end you isn't an opponent at all. It's just your own body quietly giving out on you while the whole world's still out there expecting you to be a monster. And I think that's the year I actually understood something, you know, real toughness isn't never getting hurt. It's getting up anyway, even when getting up costs you a piece of yourself you don't ever get back. I didn't come out of that stretch the same guy who went in. Nobody would. You go through something like that, almost dying quietly while the whole world thinks you're indestructible, and it changes how you look at every single thing after it. So I come back years later, one more fight, biggest stage there is, and I win it clean in front of everybody, and I'm feeling good. You know, like I finally got that piece of myself back. And then days later, it all gets taken away. Turns out something showed up in my system, something I still stand by what I said back then. We were trying to get to the bottom of it, but the damage was done. My win, gone, overturned. And now, instead of talking about the fight, everybody's talking about that. That's a different kind of losing, you know? You can lose a match and hold your head up. It's a lot harder to hold your head up when it's your name that's dirty, not just your record. And around that same stretch, I mean, guys inside the business are throwing it in my face too, right in front of the cameras, calling me out over it. And I've got no comeback for that one because, yeah, it happened. That's just the truth of it. You carry something like that, you know, it sits different than a bruise. But the one that really messes with your head, honestly, is when they come to you and say, we want you to be the guy. The guy who ends a streak that stood for 21 matches against a legend, a guy who, I mean, he was like a mentor to me, genuinely. And it wasn't my call to make, none of it was, but I'm the one standing across the ring from him. And I remember day of, something happens, and he's not right out there, I can see it, you know, he's not himself. And there's this weight on you in that moment because part of you is proud and part of you feels sick about it both at the same time. I made sure after that I went and checked on him myself because that's bigger than any match, you know, that's respect. Then there's this other one where I go out and lose in under 2 minutes flat, just gone that quick. And the whole world's calling it a joke, calling it the worst night of my career. And what nobody knew is, I mean, that one was mine, my idea. I wanted it that way because I saw something bigger coming out of it. So was it a tragedy? I don't know, honestly. Felt like one from the outside, felt like a plan from where I was standing. And a few months later, I went back and I took everything back the hard way in front of everybody who counted me out. So look, you asked me about all these tragedies, all these things that knocked me down over the years. And yeah, they were real, every one of them. But I don't sit around carrying them like some kind of weight anymore, you know? I look at my kids, I look at my land, and I mean, none of those titles, none of those streaks, they don't mean anything next to that. That's the only legacy I actually care about. Everything else, the pain, the losses, the mistakes, that's just the price you pay to find out what actually matters. And I found out, took me long enough, but yeah, I found out